From me, Clive Tilsley, and 96,000 others inside the Nou Camp Barcelona, home of Pep Guardiola's European champions. A title under threat tonight from football's favourite party pooper, Jose Mourinho. Drama in the last 10 minutes, a late change to the Inter Milan team. Goran Pandev, who did miss the weekend's Serie A game with a thigh injury and was a doubt for this game, but was originally declared in the Inter Milan team, withdrawn less than 10 minutes before kickoff and replaced by a completely different player, a defender, Christian Kivu. Man in charge is Frank de Blakeren, experienced Belgian. He took charge of a Euro 08 semi-final, so he is a man for the big occasion. But the sense of occasion inside the stadium this evening is like nothing I've ever known at the Nou Camp. After Saturday's league game here, the Barcelona players donned T-shirts promising the fans they would quite literally play out of their skins tonight. And there is a powerful and growing sense of destiny inside the city today. There have been times in the last year when Barcelona have been so good you felt they needed handicapping, and tonight they start with a 2-goal deficit to make up. Can they do it? How will they go about it? It should be fun finding out. But Jim Beglin sitting alongside me, Jose Mourinho has already forced them to change their approach.
Well, no, he hasn't actually, because they've lined up as they normally do, 4-3-3. They're playing Yaya Toure at centre-back alongside Piqué, and Gabi Milito, who's come in, he's playing at left-back. So I think it would have been a mistake, Clive, for Guardiola to change things. I think that would have been one up for Mourinho.
Ibrahimovic, former Inter Milan player, has won a free kick.
And just on the other change, we know Inter were forced into a change because of Pandev's injury. Kivu is actually, it's a direct swap. He's playing in that position. I'm not sure how that's going to work. A defender in a more advanced position, we'll see.
A Barcelona free kick inside of a minute. The most talented player in world football standing over the ball, Lionel Messi, Xavi alongside him. Piqué and Milito are forward from the back. Xavi takes, lifted in towards Seydou Keita. Cleared by Michael. Off Milito for a goal kick. Gabi Milito, who lines up tonight in direct confrontation with his elder brother, Diego. The Milito brothers made their names as teenagers with rival clubs on the outskirts of Buenos Aires. 7 years ago they had to be pulled apart in a derby match because Diego was trying to get Gabi sent off. Brotherly love, nothing of it. Piqué, I think, just tried to divert the ball to Toure, who is starting alongside him. Toure, who played in this position in the Champions League final itself. Here's Keita. Pedro coming from the left-hand side tonight. Messi started wide on the right.
Yeah, I think you could see that change. And I think maybe Messi, who's now drifting inside, maybe he'll get a little more joy, because he played within the width of the 18-yard box, didn't he, in Milan? And I think it played into Cambiasso and Thiago Motta's hands. They dealt with him pretty well.
Pedro went past Michael as if he wasn't there. Let fly with great power. Xavi actually ran across the path of the shot, but Pedro was allowed to cut inside and have a blast. Maicon did nothing to stop him.
No, I mean, we remember as well, Maicon was suspect for the goal Barcelona scored last week. That's poor defending. Got across it a little bit, Pedro, but, you know, he can strike them from either foot. The keeper was always comfortable then.
Milito, who gave Barcelona so many problems in the first leg. Lucia. Up forward towards Samuel Eto'o, who scored 30 goals last season for Barcelona. Run off the ball.
Yeah, and I just noticed that it looks as if Inter are not going to press them too high, that they're dropping into their own half, really, and then defending from there. But it'll be very interesting, Clive. You mentioned Diego Milito. He was excellent last week. You know, he ended up coming off with cramp, didn't he, because he ran so much. He plays on the last man, and if Barca do keep a high line and Inter are incisive enough and precise enough on the break, then it could be vulnerable back there.
Pedro against Maicon again. Keita. Xavi. Messi. Rolled into Ibrahimovic. Samuel had a hold of his shirt. It's a corner kick though, only a corner.
He likes to do that a fair bit, especially on the set pieces, Samuel. He's got to be a little careful, and the referee was right beside that.
Xavi with the corner towards Piqué, headed away by Maicon. Pedro. Now Dani Alves. Touré tried to drive it out to Lionel Messi, who will face his fellow countryman Javier Zanetti on this side.
You know, we speak about all the stars in the Barcelona lineup, but I think Inter have to make an allowance for the fullbacks. Okay, it's Gabi Milito on the left-hand side, Dani Alves on the right, because Barcelona really do use every inch of this pitch to stretch teams, and it's going to be difficult at times for Inter to retain that compactness.
It is a particularly wide pitch here, and it has been heavily watered in the run-up to the game, so that the top surface is slick for Barcelona to zip the ball around like this. Ibrahimovic seeking out Pedro. Rolled in by Milito. This is Keita trying to turn, seen off by Lucio. Milito with a complete miss kick. Goal kick.
Yeah, maybe Keita would have been better off just trying to pull the trigger as it arrived, you know, and trying to take a touch. It's got to be excellent in that position because you're under pressure.
The champions and league leaders of Italy against the Spanish league leaders, reigning champions of their country, their continent and their world. A-level Latin. Lucio. Milito is offside, flag has been raised. Diego Milito had a hand in all 3 goals in the San Siro a week ago.
Just noticed as well, Clive, on that last attack, when Messi drifted inside, Zanetti went with him, and that forced Samuel to follow Ibrahimovic out, so it's leaving quite a big gap between the Inter centre-backs, which can be exploited.
Samuel stretching and reaching for that, Ibrahimovic competing for it. And it came last off the big striker. It is only a goal kick. Interesting, you know, Lionel Messi. One thing, maybe the only thing that's missing from his repertoire is an ego, but he must have a massive store of self-belief, and it must have been ever so slightly dented by his inability to leave his mark on the first leg. He's been the star turn at every show he's turned up to recently, but he wasn't last Tuesday. Can he be tonight? Here he goes, running Zanetti, well off the ball by Cambiasso. Free kick given.
Well, we saw plenty of that last week as well. Cambiasso was quick to try and give Messi his attention once he got going. And it's just a little check then. Little body check.
And one of the subplots here tonight is that 6 players on the field are a yellow card away from missing the Champions League final. Touré. Here is one of the men in doubt again, Dani Alves, who was yellow carded at Chelsea at this stage last season and missed the final. Ibrahimovic just slipping.
Yeah. Too much water on it, but I think we may see that a little more from Messi as well. I think just dropping a wee bit deeper so he can get a little bit of space, because Inter don't leave too much room between defence and midfield.
Busquets has found Messi. Another foul, Thiago Motta this time. Xavi retaining possession. When does he ever give it away? Milito, this is an unusual position for Gabi Milito, left back. As it is indeed for this man, really. Yaya Touré playing on the heart of the defence. Messi. Pedro.
Schneider's almost man marking Xavi, because once he started that attack from his own half, Schneider's followed him all the way.
Well, probably if there's anybody other than Messi that Barcelona want to get on the ball, it is Xavi. He's the one who keeps them ticking over. Piqué. Toure. Dani Alves. Here's Ibrahimovic. Back to Alves. Sliding challenge by Thiago Motta, who's been penalised. It's not his first offence, and Thiago Motta will be the first man yellow carded this evening. Former Barcelona player, 5 years here. Played in a couple of Champions League semi-finals for Barcelona, now having to try to survive 80 minutes of a semi-final against them in the Nou Camp with a yellow card against his name. Thiago Motta of Brazil.
Yeah, committed himself and didn't get the ball. Going to ground like that, you've got to get the football. Lovely little run as well from Dani Alves. We'll see plenty of that.
Messi. Ooh, all sorts of tumbling going on inside the box. It's a Barcelona player who's been penalised. Didier Drogba will be sitting at home with a rueful grin because Walter Samuel was manhandling him in the Chelsea tie earlier in the campaign. Now what went on there, I wonder.
Well, look at his shirt. Just look at Ibrahimovic's shirt. I think it says it all. And we saw plenty of this last week in the first leg as well. Yaya Toure and Ibrahimovic both go over, and it's not Samuel,
it's Lucio.
Lucio, yeah, had to be one or the other.
And you say look at his shirt, look at the name on the shirt. Barcelona are a club unlike any other. They didn't have a shirt sponsor throughout their history until 4 years ago when they signed a contract with UNICEF, and they pay UNICEF for the privilege of wearing that charity's name on their shirts. Extraordinary in the modern era. Maicon is the man down. Messi, who's half his size, tripped him into the advertising hoardings. And the referee's going to have a word with Lionel Messi here. It's only a word, I think, as Maicon rather painfully climbs to his feet.
Yeah, this is the ball again. And you can see Lucio, there he is, just pulling Ibrahimovic. He's trying to get away, he's trying to fight his way off. He goes down, then Toure, he's not looking, and barges into both of them. And there's the result.
Maicon is still down. Now, how will the referee deal with this particular incident? Will he read this as play acting, or will he give Maicon the benefit of the doubt? He seems to be in some discomfort. His right shoulder crashed into the big advertising board.
This is it here. He certainly just knocks him over, okay, and, you know, it looks like an awkward fall on that right shoulder.
But the feelings have been running high, really, throughout the build-up to this game. Jose Mourinho inevitably at the centre of a lot of it. He's such a gambler, famous for his daring substitutions, but more than that, he gambles with people's feelings for him. Some of the hostility directed at him and his team since arriving in Barcelona has been indefensible, but he does stir up emotions for and against himself. You either like or you loathe Jose Mourinho. And 96,000 inside the stadium tonight, only 5,000 from Milan.
You're right. I mean, over the years, Clive, I heard you say it at the start, I've been here about a dozen times for Barcelona home games. I've never heard it this good before, atmosphere-wise. It was fantastic. And it is, it's the Jose factor.
4 years he was in Barcelona's employ. He arrived with the late great Sir Bobby Robson from Porto in 1996, served here under the Bayern coach Louis van Gaal too. Will they meet in the final in Madrid? Keita. Xavi. Messi tried to curl it, blocked by the shins of Samuel. Dani Alves trying to lift it back into Lionel Messi. It will be a throw-in to Barcelona. Milito. Piqué. Busquets. Ibrahimovic. Immediately surrounded, crowded out.
That's the way Inter are playing it. They're sitting deep, and now if they can get some value out of Milito, difficult to hold it up when you're there on your own.
Nobody were within 30 metres of Milito when the ball initially came to him.
No, I mean, the patch has been set. You know, Inter are not trying anything too risky at the start. They're just defending, making sure they do nothing silly.
Pedro's cross, driven in, headed away by Lucio. Milito. Piqué. Xavi. Busquets. Now Milito. The referee got in the way. It was a misplaced pass anyway.
He had more time, Gabi Milito, for me, than he could have kept going. A little more composure on that. I mean, Barcelona are knocking the ball about okay at the moment, but it's in front of Inter. It's difficult to break through them, and I think, yeah, the pattern's there to stay, I think.
Xavi. Keita. This is Pedro. Milito here might be the Barcelona player that Inter are happiest to have the ball. Messi. Tripped over his own feet there. Snyder downfield for Milito to wrestle with Piqué and win a free kick. Those two actually, you know, played together. Piqué had a season on loan to Real Zaragoza 3 years ago, and actually both Diego and Gabi Milito were at Zaragoza at the time, so they know all about each other. Messi wasn't fouled, Milito was.
That is very clever from Diego Milito. He just felt a little touch from Piqué and went down.
Kivu's cross, hit straight at Victor Valdez. Kivu wearing that skull cap because of a fearful injury that he suffered in January, which everybody thought had finished his season and even threatened his career, a fractured skull, but he's happily back in action, having undergone some brain surgery at the start of January, and he's the man who wasn't expected to play tonight until 10 minutes before the game. Goran Pandev pulled out after the warm-up by Jose Mourinho, and Christian Kivu, who is a defender really by trade, being press-ganged into playing in a role on the left of the Inter Milan midfield.
You know, it's not worked out too badly. Obviously, they didn't want the Pandev injury, but Kivu is just tracking it. Every time Dani Alves tries to make a run forward, Kivu, natural defender, is going with him. You know, he's alive to it.
Diego Milito's offside here. I'm not quite sure what the decorum is for a late injury, but presumably Inter would have had to ask Barcelona whether it was okay to change the lineup that they submitted. I wonder what went through the mind of Pep Guardiola when that request came. Oh yeah. Busquets, Xavi. Here is Dani Alves, and there's Kivu back with him. Keita is trying to flick it on to Pedro, who's got to scamper a bit. Toure. Pedro holding the width on that left-hand side, getting it back from Keita. Now Xavi, now Pedro. Tried to steer in Dani Alves. Kivu with a rather hesitant touch. Lucio had to react. Here's Diego Milito all alone again, all alone but for two Barca defenders. This time he's committed the foul.
Yeah, he knew it had gotten away from him a little bit, and he just tripped Piqué. And Barcelona trying to keep the urgency in it, but Inter's discipline and their organisation has been very solid so far.
Keita. Kicked in towards Ibrahimovic, he's found some space, and handball has been given against him. He just controlled the ball with the top of his arm.
Yeah, his reaction as well suggests that it did catch him on the upper arm.
He is something of an acquired taste, but you know, one place where Zlatan Ibrahimovic is appreciated is in Milan. They certainly developed a taste for his very individual style at Inter. They know exactly what he can do. Scored goals prolifically for them in Italy. 15 times this season Barcelona have won games here at the Nou Camp by the margin they require tonight. But only one team has beaten Inter Milan 2-0 or better all season, and that team, Barcelona, in the two met in the group stage of this competition back in November. Barcelona scored twice in the opening half hour that night. "2-0 will do Barcelona on the night. Only 3-1 would take us to extra time." Dani Alves, Yaya Toure, Xavi, clever, away from Cambiasso. It's Xavi Hernandez, trying to feed in Ibrahimovic when it's crying out for him to shoot himself. He's not a goal scorer, it's the one thing he's not, Xavi. But he made a chance for himself there, which he decided to offload.
I thought he could have hit it. I thought he had a moment where he could have just gone for goal and chose not to. But I think when he does peel off like that, I think Schneider's got to at least alert somebody that, you know, he's running on, because they were slow getting to him.
Inter can break here thanks to a good interception by Maicon, who's gone on in support of Samuel Eto'o. Diego Milito. Well, tossed it into the box. Nobody had got up with him. He did pretty well, really, considering he was outnumbered again in that corner. Messi swept into the path of Pedro. Lionel Messi once more. Dani Alves. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Toure.
It's all in front, around, but not through yet from Barcelona. I think they can quicken it a bit, you know, they've had loads of the ball.
Messi, he'll quicken it. Tried to tuck it inside Cambiasso for Pedro's an audacious attempt at a killer pass. There was a deflection on the way back to Julio Cesar, but not a deliberate bypass.
Cambiasso got the touchdown, and you're right, there's nothing intentional about it, just kind of found its way back to Julio Cesar. The amount of work he does in midfield is phenomenal alongside Thiago Motta. They've become a key part of this Inter run.
Here's Dani Alves getting forward though from right back. Tossed in towards Ibrahimovic, headed down to Xavi! Samuel stood his ground. Xavi never quite had it under control. But Zlatan Ibrahimovic found some space there. Could have gone for goal himself, maybe.
I think he did the right thing. I think he would have been asking a lot, because he's backing away from the ball and he can't generate the power. But Kivu lost Dani Alves with the run. It was a good ball in, and it just wouldn't sit for Xavi.
Approaching the midway point in the first half, and still no breakthrough for Barcelona. Pedro. Ibrahimovic. It wasn't the best of touches. Referee did rather get in the way, but Milito couldn't gather it in. Barcelona quickly won it back, as they do. Busquets. Alves. First time hit! Oh, outside the post, was it from Pedro? Beautifully struck. Julio Cesar rooted. Wonderful effort.
Well, it's Daniel Alves again, and he's the source, and Kivu's not doing his job now. He just allowed him too much space. It's difficult because he's trying to take it first time on the half volley. Hard skill to execute. Not a bad try from Pedro, but great movement to come in off the left-hand side.
It was a couple of yards wider than my first instincts, but it was a snapshot. And at moments like that, Barcelona will build momentum, build pressure. Messi, Xavi, Keita, overhead. And a foul by Seydou Keita.
Well, I think Maicon was certainly looking for that. You know, he played the touch. I think he could have stayed on his feet, but decided he'd go with the knock.
Important Barcelona keep their control. Mourinho talked about the obsession with reaching the final at the home of their greatest rivals, Real Madrid. Here's Snyder, the Inter manager, believes it may even be Barcelona's downfall tonight, but different pressures on each side. Great expectations making for a great matchup for the rest of Europe to enjoy. Ball in the hands of Jose Mourinho.
I think just looking at Messi again, Clive, as he just attempted another, I think he's going to find it very hard to get any sort of momentum into a run, because they are quick to get about him.
Here's Milito, and Valdez thought about coming there momentarily. Diego Milito, Wesley Sneijder, and the support, and there's room here for Samuel Eto'o. Milito got across, Eto'o managed to ride that first challenge, but it was forced out for a corner kick by Pedro. But how much space did Eto'o have suddenly?
Well, that's what they've been waiting for. I mean, the first part of the game plan was fine. Defensively, they look really, really stout, very solid. And now when they get a chance to get a few forward, you know, it was difficult for them to get it under control. And the first challenge coming in from Milito was enough for Pedro to be able to get back.
Samuel Eto'o, 36 goals here in total for Barcelona last season, deemed surplus to requirements. Sneijder with the corner towards Samuel. It's cleared by Busquets. Zanetti. Overhit for Sneijder, his flag up anyway. He'll come from an offside position. And a free kick to Barcelona. Don't think he was.
Wrong.
Messi. Milito. Keita. Pedro. Barcelona happy to wait their moment, trying to pull their opponents first one way, then the other, just trying to stretch the intercover to breaking point. Where Ibrahimovic has wandered here. Xavi, now Messi. Ibrahimovic. Dani Alves. It's curling towards Pedro. Astutely played. Cross headed away by Kivu. Eto'o taking a bit of a chance on the edge of the penalty area, but believing in his ability. Look at the pace of Samuel Eto'o. Pedro having to chase. Oh, he made 50 wonderful yards there for Inter Milan, Eto'o. I think Pedro might be in trouble here.
Yeah, I think the referee said it a couple of times now. Well, we've seen that not just on one occasion, have we? Just waiting for the touch. We saw Milito with Piqué earlier on, and I think Eto'o was just kind of holding up. He's just waiting for the touch to arrive, and he's going to go down. And I think Barca are going to have to be just a little patient with that at times in their eagerness to get the ball back. Just stand off, stand your ground a little more.
Motta certainly thrust his hand there into the face of Busquets. Referee had a pretty good view of it. I think it was a flat hand. Card, red. Inter Milan will have to play more than an hour in the Nou Camp with 10 men. Thiago Motta, a derisive smile from Jose Mourinho as his Brazilian midfield player is sent off.
Well, he certainly put the arm up, there's no doubt about that, but it's just a hand into the face. I mean, I don't know why he's even going there to give them an excuse, because he knows that the reaction's going to be as it was from Busquets.
And there's some trouble here now off camera. There's been a bit of a flare-up as Motta tried to leave the field. One or two Barcelona players tangled with him. The general guideline for a referee is if the handoff is below the chin, yellow card. If the handoff is above the chin, red card. You have to take into account how forceful it is, and it wasn't very forceful, but it was in the face of his opponent. And this is the Nou Camp, and there are 91,000 Barcelona fans in here, and you just cannot afford to take that kind of a risk.
Exactly, that's what I was saying before. Motta didn't need to go there, and this is the little confrontation you spoke about. Motta grabbed him again as if to say, you know, you've gotten me sent off with your reaction.
And if he didn't deserve to go for the first one, he certainly did for that.
Doesn't he? Yeah.
It's Busquets who was the victim. They gave him a real scragging then on the way up. Now Jose Mourinho, well, he is in his element as the underdog. Us against the world is his favourite fixture. Anytime he can use and fuel a conspiracy theory or a persecution complex, that's what he does. That's how he builds the formidable spirit and focus within his team, within his club.
Clive, the only thing I'll add to that as well, what an irony about that. The press conference on Tuesday, before this game yesterday, Motta has gone and said Barcelona players dive, we know that. You know, don't even go there. And he's brought it upon himself.
Well, if they do it with 10 men tonight, Jose Mourinho will find that his reputation has risen even higher than perhaps he has it. Diego Milito. He's going to get a free kick for that.
Listen, this isn't a new position for Inter. This season, this has happened on quite a few occasions where they've been down to 10 and 9 men and still managed to get good results. Now listen, it's a doubly harder task as we watch it again. Hand goes out. It does catch him on the chin, the side of his face area, but I don't think there's much in it. We know Busquets has made a bit of a meal of it, and he got him the red card. But yeah, the task, of course, is much harder now, but you know, if any side are capable of it, it's Inter with that mentality they've got and that spirit.
Xavi. Pedro.
Basically, they've reacted by putting Kivu in the centre alongside Cambiasso, and now Eto'o is playing on the left-hand side of midfield. And Schneider is obviously going to have to just help out and get in amongst it too.
Even Diego Milito's back behind the ball at the moment.
Yeah, he's across on the right now, just trying to... I mean, it's damage limitations, isn't it, at the moment?
Thiago Motta has gone. Dani Alves with the cross. Here is Milito back inside his own penalty area, clearing his lines. Just can't afford to become completely hemmed in. Easier said than done, I know. But Barcelona lay siege in a very careful, considered and accurate way. Pedro. Hit up against Lucio, who survived the handball appeals. Here is the Brazilian skipper, just reared up against him there. Eto'o looking to run Dani Alves. Won't keep it in. It really was a difficult decision for the referee, difficult borderline. That's not a difficult decision, that's hit Lucio's flat in the chest.
Yeah, I think probably a little bit of relief for him as well, because he just took a little nick off Maicon as Pedro tried to cross it.
But Thiago Motta gave the referee a decision to make. Messi curls it! Oh, terrific effort and a wonderful save by Julio Cesar. Just got fingertips on that bender from Lionel Messi.
Fantastic play all round. It's the first time he's managed to get a little run. Just got that yard of space by coming inside. Zanetti went to ground and it's headed right in the corner. Fantastic stop.
Marvellous save. Messi takes the corner himself, driven in low. Milito tried to connect with it. Eto'o away, almost for Sneijder. Dani Alves, his last man. Pedro. Barcelona could have been caught there on the counter. Busquets. Pedro. Alves. It's a poor cross in the end from Pedro. Well, Julio Cesar will be Brazil's first choice goalkeeper at the coming World Cup finals. I know a lot of people in the world believe he's become the best keeper in the world in the last 2 years, and that is as good as it gets.
That is brilliant. You know, that was a great angle we just got there, and Messi must be thinking, I've got this spot on. This is right in the corner.
It was past him, Jim. He reached back to somehow divert it wide. Wonderful save.
It's great stuff. Just a little tug from Keita and Diego Milito, and just anything like that now is a huge bonus for Inter Milan.
Zanetti. Sneijder, rather heavy touch. Xavi into the path of Ibrahimovic. Messi at his shoulder. Went the other way looking for Xavi, and it was a poor pass from Ibrahimovic, and compounded his error by fouling Wesley Sneijder.
That's the only thing I say about him. I mean, he doesn't care about the critics. He said that he's got enough medals in his cabinet, but I just think he does this a lot, Clive. I mean, it was a poor touch that led to that, the little trip on Wesley Sneijder. I think he's clumsy like that often. When there's a simple little ball on, it gets away from him a little bit, Ibrahimovic.
Those of you who have teenage sons probably experience the same reaction I get when I suggest they do something active and they look at you and say, effort. And Ibrahimovic does wear that same expression. His body language is not the best at times. Yellow card now for Julio Cesar, the goalkeeper, for wasting time.
But, you know, I've mentioned it already. I know it's difficult when you've got kind of two banks, and Inter are very, very good at stopping teams and making it difficult, but I think Barca need to just up the tempo a little bit. I think they can shift the ball quicker. I mean, I've seen them doing it, the Arsenal game, the Stuttgart game, and I don't think they're moving it as they can. I think they're going to need to if they're going to find more ways through.
And of course there'll be a question for Pep Guardiola at half-time. Does he change anything? Does he now think about bringing an extra attacking player on, bearing in mind he's got an hour of the game to play against 10 men?
Well, just looking at him at times, I mean, Gabi Milito is obviously unfamiliar to the left-back role. There's a reluctance about him at times to push on. Now, he's got the likes of Maxwell, who he can bring on, who's very aggressive in going forward, as Daniel Alves is on the ball now.
Maxwell, who made the goal, and the away goal in the San Siro. Dani Alves with the cross. It's a good ball from Xavi. Messi, Busquets. Lionel Messi. Keita lets it run. Pedro. Keita's gone on here. Cross comes Lucio. A really good cover. Goal kick.
Yeah, he's a bit charged up. He's gone running out. He's high five from Lucio with Maicon. He's really pleased with himself that went for him. But that's more like it, because that was a little more incisive and quicker from Barcelona. Just the first time passing. And there it is, just a little ricochet back off him for the Inter goal kick.
The story of the game so far, a 28th minute red card for Thiago Motta, straight red card for thrusting his hand into the face of Barcelona's Sergi Busquets.
Do you know the thing is as well, it's stupid because he doesn't even need to extend his arm at all. He doesn't need to go there. He's in control of the ball and he can shield it and hold his man off.
It's like a rugby handoff, really, wasn't it? Touré. This might run through for Pedro. Down goes Keita inside the penalty area. No appeal.
Nah, there's nothing. I'm not quite sure why he went down. It didn't look as if he was clipped. I think he realised it's over his head and he's just dropped to the ground.
The president of Inter Milan, Massimo Moratti, was accusing Barcelona of pressuring the ref in the build-up to the game, and by giving the interview in which he said that, he was pressuring the ref too. Poor Frank de Blaker had a big decision to make, and he found against Thiago Motta, and Inter must try to resist with 10 men. So far so good for them in that sense, in terms of keeping Barcelona largely at arm's length. Busquets, Milito, Pedro. Football is a tiring game to play without the ball, and Inter Milan are going to go long periods of the remainder of this match without it. Here's Sneijder, though. I'm not sure that Milito appreciated the early ball forward, and they do get it. They want to just try to keep it for a little while.
Absolutely, and Sneijder, the reaction, he's angry with himself that he didn't produce something better to Milito. I mean, it's just very difficult for them to get out. I think all but Sergio Busquets a moment ago were in the final third of the pitch.
Touré, Messi, Xavi, Angled ball in towards Dani Alves. Zanetti couldn't cut it out. Alves back to Ibrahimovic. Terrific block by Samuel. Just hurled himself there in the path of Ibrahimovic's shot and stopped it. Eto's given it away.
Well, they lost Dani Alves again. He's the one who made the little run around the back and nobody picked him up.
It's now Eto and Zanetti's responsibility with Kivu in the centre of the field. Space now for Messi, and that spells trouble. But Javier Zanetti, one of the outstanding players of his generation, makes another well-timed challenge, and Eto has conceded a free kick.
Well, is it? Does he catch him with his arm? Messi's holding his face. I thought he was going to give it the other way for a moment. I thought Messi may have clipped him and just came off Dani Alves' arm. And there it is. It's just a little fob off, isn't it, by Eto? I don't think that's a foul. That happens all the time.
Cheap free kick. Little Messi takes. Julio Cesar just, I think, got something on it, but Inter have got a free kick anyway. I think there were probably at every free kick and corner be at least half a dozen things the referee could penalise inside the penalty area.
Well, that one was pretty straightforward because Ibrahimovic on Lucio.
Brief respite from the goal kick. Here they come again. Piqué. Keita making the late run. Just heads it on into the path of Pedro skillfully. Pedro's cross over the head of Ibrahimovic. Zanetti deals with it. Messi climbing up above Kivu and fouling him.
Yeah, Messi's not happy with him. He's just telling Christian Kivu to get up. I mean, look, Inter are going to do that as much as they can. You know, any sort of contact, they're going to use it. He's just up ahead of him, and there's nothing in that. That's a perfectly fair challenge from Messi. I'm not surprised at his reaction in telling Kivu to get off the ground. There you go, they're still at it.
This is Barcelona's fourth semi-final in 5 years, but amazingly, they haven't scored a goal here at the Nou Camp in any of the previous three, all goalless draws. In fact, it's 4 semi-final home legs without a goal in all. Pedro. Xavi. Eto got back there. Cambiasso hooked it clear.
Almost a third centre-back at times. A position he has actually played before, Cambiasso.
They might need a fourth and a fifth before the end of the night.
Obviously the big talking point, Clive, is the sending off Thiago Motta.
Messi. Held up by Samuel, and here's Zanetti again.
But yeah, the outstanding moment of the game was obviously the Lionel Messi attempt and the brilliant save from Julio Cesar. It's not enough from Barcelona. Guardiola can't be happy that Julio Cesar has not been worked enough. I mean, Barca need more. I know it's tough, but they need to start working it quicker. They need to start taking more of a risk, getting more people into the box when something looks like coming in.
And taking more out of the Inter legs.
Exactly.
Here's Messi. Alves. Possession almost being surrendered to them until they get into the last 25 metres of the field. Milito, well challenged. A chance for a break. Maicon feeding Schneider, and Piqué's got some catching up to do, but he is very quick across the ground, Gerard Piqué. And now Inter have got 3 out of the game here, and Schneider is on the field.
I don't think they're going to stop Barcelona.
Lionel Messi. This is a controversial moment. Kivu dives in. He's got a yellow card, Christian Kivu, but Inter felt that with Schneider down, Barcelona might have kicked the ball out.
Still on the ground as well, Wesley. No, he's just picked himself up now. Well, that was a rash one, wasn't it, from Kivu? I don't know whether he got anything on it. And this is the Gerard Piqué one. Did really well to make the ground up.
I mean, that's a foul by Schneider, if anything, but yeah. Piqué had the ball and was allowed to go on. Now, here's the Kivu foul.
Coming in from the side. Yeah.
He did get a bit of the ball, but he got a lot of Messi too, and it was a rather rash challenge in reaction to what was going on. It's clearly laid out in English football now that unless the injury is serious to the head, the play should continue, and the referee should be the man who stops the game. But that's not the way, really, in Italy and Spain. Certainly there's no such edict in the Champions League. Barcelona might have been expected to kick the ball out. As it is, they have a free kick. And Inter have 3 yellow cards and 1 red already. Ibrahimovic! Oh, once he hit it, it stayed hit, but it was wide of Julio Cesar's goal.
Yeah, and I always look at the goalkeeper in a situation like that, and he didn't look troubled. He just kind of ambled across once the shot came in. I think he felt it was always well off target. Decent try. I mean, he's given it some venom, certainly got behind it well. Moved a little bit in the air too.
Moved about 3 different ways.
Yeah. Do you know, it's a shame as well, really, for the spectacle, because we thought Barcelona would have the majority of the possession, as they usually do. But we're missing the Inter mischief on the break. I mean, look at the damage they caused them with the 3 goals last week, and the incision and the way they broke at Barcelona. And it's such a shame the sending off has taken that part of the game away and made it so one-sided in terms of territory and possession.
It's attack v defence, but the defence still have a 2-goal aggregate lead. No goals on the night. Busquets. Touré. Now Piqué. Slipped in towards Ibrahimovic, but Inter defending the edge of the penalty area so well. 2 extra minutes to play. Busquets. Just tripped by Kivu, who's going to have to watch his step now.
Yeah, right on half-time. Chance to get the big fellas in the box.
It's Messi. It's in towards Busquets. Really good header by Samuel, away by Maicon, as far as Pedro. Now Gabi Milito. Yaya Touré. Well, Inter Milan will be delighted to see that, not least for the fact it's gone for a throw-in, but when Barcelona start resorting to long-range shooting, you know that they are starting to run out of ideas.
Yeah, good closing down from Diego Milito as well. He hurried Yaya Touré into it, but I think Samuel has been superb. I think Lucio has been excellent. The goalkeeper's made an outstanding save, and Cambiasso as well has dug in. That's the doggedness you expect from Jose Mourinho's Inter.
Xavi. Messi. Daniel Alves. Lionel Messi and Yaya Touré, and wild from him yet again. Plenty for both managers to ponder during the half-time break, which is seconds away. We'll be hearing from Gareth Southgate and Andy Townsend down on the touchline with Matt Smith. Thiago Motta's red card will rule him out of the final should Inter Milan reach it. And the other 4 Inter players who came in a yellow card away from suspension have survived so far. And so has their defence, despite being outnumbered for the last 17 minutes of a very eventful first half. Inter have held firm. They've kept Barcelona at arm's length for the most part. One brilliant save from Lionel Messi. But at the break, their 3-1 aggregate lead is intact. We'll be back in a minute or 2, but here in the Nou Camp, it's Barcelona 0, Inter Milan 0. Barcelona will make a change for the second half, and it's the change that Andy and Gareth predicted. Maxwell, the left back in the first leg a week ago, the man who set up Pedro's away goal, is going to come on. Goodness knows what that was all about. A little moment after the sending off when Jose Mourinho had a word in Pep Guardiola's shell-like. I'm assuming that Gabi Milito is the man who's gone off, and that Maxwell, who's far more attack-minded, will come down the left-hand side. Barcelona have been out for a couple of minutes now, and no sign of Inter Milan.
Clive, the only surprise for me is, why has Pep Guardiola waited all this time? You know, why didn't he do that as soon as the sending off happened? Why didn't he effect it then?
Well, the changes on the way. You can see Maxwell, the Brazilian who arrived at Barcelona from Inter Milan in the summer. Another twist to the tail. Inter certainly have had their problems with referees in Italy this season. Jose Mourinho has made a big point of it. Some of you may remember that very graphic photograph of him holding up his hands as if they were handcuffed after they had 2 men sent off in the Milan derby. They won that. They had 2 men sent off in the first half hour against Sampdoria in February. They got a 0-0 out of that game. So this is not an unusual set of circumstances for them, as the players come out in dribs and drabs. Lucio and Samuel are just about arriving now.
And how important are they going to be? I thought they were very good in keeping everything nice and tight in the first half. They're going to need to be immense in this second half, because surely Barca will throw much more at them.
Inter Milan have won their last 6 Champions League games, one at Chelsea without conceding a goal, one in Moscow without conceding. It's the best run in Inter's European Cup history, but they haven't made it to the final since 1972, haven't lifted the giant trophy since 1965. They are overdue, long overdue. And Barcelona need 2 goals in this second half to deny them a return to the centre stage of European football. Inter have an early free kick here, which Samuel Eto'o wants to take, and wants to take from a position about 5 paces beyond the point at which the Belgian referee awarded it.
It looks like a soft one as well, because Busquets went to raise his leg and then changed his mind.
Kiva's going to blast it, and it's a terrible free kick. We can hear from our touchline reporter, the man who's standing between Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho, Gabriel Clark.
Well, there were heated exchanges, Clive, as the players and the management came up the tunnel at half-time, surprisingly. Jose Mourinho was in the thick of it, clearly unhappy with the overreaction, as he would see it, of the Barcelona players to that sending off. The Barcelona players, though, were still very wound up with Mourinho and Inter. Gabriel Milito took exception to Mourinho's behaviour. Interestingly, though, the Inter captain, Javier Zanetti, was there doing his best to emphasise to his players the need for calm, but the temperature remains red hot. Maybe that's exactly what Jose Mourinho wants.
Alves, Toure, Piqué, Maxwell, Pedro. It's got beyond Maicon here. 3 Barcelona players inside the box. Maicon's recovered. This is Maxwell. Pedro having to go back to Piqué, and it only just reached him. Sneijder actually got a foot in.
Yeah, and he is the most advanced now, because Diego Milito is playing on the right-hand side of midfield. But look at Maxwell now, Clive. He's a left-back, but he will not play there. He'll be just very, very deep into the opposition half.
Keita, Xavi. Dani Alves on the move, but offside.
I'm surprised Xavi actually played it in the end, because you could see that Alves had run into an offside position. I thought he could have just held it a little longer. There he is, the Brazilian's just got round the back. No need to release it.
There were reports of ructions in the tunnel at the end of the game in the San Siro last week. Apparently Xavi, who's normally very measured in everything that he does, lost his cool with Jose Mourinho after the first game. Things were complicated somewhat by the fact that Mario Balotelli, the teenage Inter Milan substitute, had wound up some of his own players, and Marco Materazzi allegedly gave him a bit of a ragging. But Balotelli's on the bench tonight. Here's Xavi. In towards Seydou Keita.
Good defending by Maicon, because he tracked the run with Keita, and he was right there, even if the Mali player could have gotten control of that ball. Listen, we knew the start of this game tonight, Clive, that Barcelona were going to have a certain patience about how they went about their job tonight, and that still applies now, but they need to inject the purpose, they need to inject the pace if they're going to find a way through this into defence.
Ibrahimovic, Keita, Maxwell, Pedro. It's an easy ball for Julio Cesar. There's always an element of intrigue involving any match in which Jose Mourinho is a central character. He made a late change to his starting lineup tonight, but I must emphasise that the man who was pulled out at the last minute, Goran Pandev, did miss Saturday's game in Serie A against Atalanta because of a thigh injury. This is Pedro. Headed away is by Zanetti. Milito's done well to find Sneijder. He's all on his own here, Wesley Sneijder. He himself is a big doubt for this game too. Maicon.
I see the referee has bought that. Busquets has done nothing. Maicon was looking for it. If Inter do get on the ball now, Barcelona just can't go there. They just can't afford a touch. Just watch him. He just sticks his leg out. There's nothing in that, trying to make it look like a free kick to the referee.
And what Busquets did when he was pushed in the face was sly and underhand, a little closer of him looking from behind his hand on the ground, revealed that as much. But it's not like he doesn't go on in the 21st century game, and Thiago Motta just set himself up, didn't he, Jim?
He did totally. I mean, look, we've spoken about this in commentary before. I hate to see that amongst the modern day players, because the spirit amongst them is really poor. I remember players on the receiving end trying to stop the other player getting yellow carded in the past. That's all gone now. It's all about deceit and getting each other yellow and red carded. It's very, very cynical profession now.
Well, Lucio's down injured now, having just guided the ball back calmly towards his goalkeeper. Free kick has been given.
And you know, the other thing about Motta, he was on a yellow card from diving in earlier on, Clive, and it was certainly, if not a red, it was a yellow card offence, so 2 yellows, he was going anyway.
But he was shown a straight red. Cambiasso into Sneijder. Here's Diego Milito. Another 6 minutes successfully negotiated. Aggregate score still 3-1. Let me remind you, Barcelona need a 2-0 win to take them through to the final.
Both managers as well, standing in their technical area, on the very edges of their technical areas, anxious for different reasons.
Dani Alves. Xavi. Pedro. Messi. Busquets. This is Dani Alves. Squeeze it across towards Ibrahimovic, trying to help it on to Keita. Ibrahimovic is still there. Julio Cesar very alert, very courageous.
Well, he did well to get anything on that, Ibrahimovic, because it came very awkwardly to him, and he improvised well to get the touch, but Julio Cesar was sharp.
Inter Milan fielding 3 of the likely Brazilian back 5 for the World Cup finals. Maicon is actually keeping Dani Alves out of the team at the moment. Lucio will skipper Brazil, and Julio Cesar will be behind them. They've been resolute tonight. But here's Keita. It's Lucio who gets in front of him, and Cambiasso who hooks it clear. Here's Wesley Sneijder. There's a foul on Lucio. Keita's been penalised. Free kick to Inter Milan.
Well, again, I think this is all part of the Inter game now and just slowing the whole process down. I'm not sure there was much in that. I mean, Keita's put his hand up as if to say, I haven't touched him.
Lucio signed from Bayern Munich last summer. Bayern await the winners of this semi-final in Madrid.
Well, just listen to the frustration in the stadium now. Everybody's at it. And just for me, still, Clive, I don't see the urgency about what Barcelona are trying to do here. And it has to be much, much quicker tempo.
Just wonder if Inter can keep at this level of physical resistance for 90 minutes. More than 60 of them with 10 men. Messi, Keita, Toure, Messi, Xavi, in towards Ibrahimovic, who goes down, tangles with Lucio, tells him to get to his feet.
Well, do you know, he got wrong side, Lucio. He allowed Ibrahimovic get goal side, and just for a moment I wondered. Just watch this. Look, he's allowed him. There's a little coming together, but not a penalty for me. I wouldn't have given it, but I think Lucio for a moment panicked and thought he was in trouble, you know.
And if the referee gives a penalty, what else is he going to give? A red card to Lucio.
Yeah.
Decided against both. I think rightly.
Just when we were having a chat at half-time, we referred to the fact that this isn't exactly a new experience for Inter. You know, they found themselves in this position before. 9 men against Sampdoria for 45 minutes and managed to keep it 0-0. We'll see.
Pedro. Keita. Cambiasso across, corner kick. Cambiasso claims it should be a goal kick. Lucio with the header away. Dani Alves. He's got away from Sneijder. Dani Alves with the shot, he's pulled it.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure arrived in the form of Samuel Eto'o once he got away from Wesley Sneijder.
But there's little or no goal threat at all now from Jose Mourinho's team. He's got Balotelli warming up. Whether he wants to try to give Barcelona something to think about at the other end of the field. We have seen him react in this way in the past. You think that it might be all about defence. Suddenly he'll spring an extra attacker, although Milito must be very tired now.
By the way, I think Materazzi's also warming up, Clive. That's the last thing this game needs at the moment.
Here's Ibrahimovic. Lucio is there again, doing the defending of 3 men. Down goes Milito looking for a free kick, doesn't get it. Toure. Xavi. Keita. Ibrahimovic. And now Lionel Messi. This is Xavi. Pedro. Maxwell on the overlap. It's not a good cross. Well, we're all hoping for the beautiful game. Pep Guardiola himself called for a festival of football, but we've got the other side of the Latin game here now. We've got tactics to the fore, and we've got gamesmanship to the fore. Different kind of contest than the one we'd hoped for, but no less fascinating.
But you know, they're so good with their plan A, Barcelona, they very rarely need a plan B. And I mean, they need a plan B now, because this is not working. They need something different.
Will they be patient? Ask Chelsea. They didn't change their style at any moment of the second leg of last year's semi-final. Didn't create a worthwhile chance until the 93rd minute, and it was all they needed. Pedro. Xavi. Toure. See, that's very speculative from Yaya Toure, and again, I think that's a let-off for Inter Milan.
I think it's a great sign for Inter Milan. I think that really cheers Inter Milan. That's frustration. When you're shooting from that range, we saw it from Daniel Alves, pull one before, and now Yaya Toure way off target. I think the frustration's beginning to get to them now. But you know, Clive, as I'm looking at the play building for Barcelona, Ibrahimovic is just on his own with the 2 centre-backs in the box. Nobody else is attempting to make a little run in, and they've got to start taking more risks now, Barcelona, getting more players forward.
Also on the bench tonight, Thierry Henry, Bojan Krkic. 2 players of different generations, but both proven at this level. Here's Maxwell, the half-time substitute. Pedro. Piqué. Offside, Dani Alves.
That's twice from the Xavi pass before, and now from Piqué. Just a little careless on his part, shake of the head. A little annoyed with himself. So, we're a lot closer, it wasn't a second time round, just a little step up.
Yeah, Barcelona in the Nou Camp presents the ultimate tactical test of a self-proclaimed strategist like Jose Mourinho. The test became that little bit more difficult when Thiago Motta was sent off, but it's like a famous safecracker going to work on trying to find a combination to the vault doors that nobody else has been able to open. In this case, the vault doors that he wants to keep closed. So far, he's organised his team to do just that. Messi, Pedro, Xavi. He won't have a blast, he'll clip one into the path of Dani Alves. Lifted dangerously into the box, Keita was there, just couldn't quite make contact. Again Pedro goes down, again Barcelona appeal for a penalty.
Now does this come off Maicon? Or is it Keita who got the final touch?
Julio Cesar has been wasting time.
Yeah, I think they were looking for a penalty for this. Cambiasso just jumping into his man, and it did come off Maicon as well, you know. Should be a corner.
Has already been yellow carded, the Inter Milan goalkeeper, and he's taken his time over every goal kick. Ibrahimovic, Messi, here comes the latest wave. Run off the ball by Samuel, his fellow countryman. Maicon just tosses it forward, but it'll be easy enough for Victor Valdez.
Yeah, and Daniel Alves has become the best outlet for Barcelona. You know, he's free all that time because Zanetti's trying to tuck in and keep it nice and narrow and compact, and he's trying to stretch it. Daniel Alves, he's available again.
Pedro. Again, it's just hopeful effort from the edge of the box. Really got to catch one to beat Julio Cesar, we know that already.
And this is it again from Cambiasso.
Anywhere else on the field, it's probably a free kick, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the arms go straight. If to say, well, yeah, there's a bit of contact there.
Bojan's going to be the next substitute ahead of Thierry Henry. He scored with his first touch as a substitute against Stuttgart here. Xavi, Messi. Now Maxwell. Pedro. Xavi. Whole game's just being played in a third of the field. Messi. Ibrahimovic. Lionel Messi trying to go on. Crowded out again.
Brilliant discipline from Inter. And you see Lucio saying to him, "You looking for a penalty there, pal?" And I think there's more gamesmanship on the go here, but they were really careful once he picked up the pass from Ibrahimovic, just not to make contact with him. Yes, Lucio gets the ball, Kivo doesn't do anything, and they just feel that Messi was looking for it in the end, but very good defending all round.
It's a good job Lucio did get the ball, because I think Kivo took Messi out, but the ball had already gone.
I don't think Kivo's really trying to play him. I think he's just a little kind of coming together side to side.
Hey, now who's coming off here for Bojan Krkić? Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Well, he's substituted an hour into the first leg. He hasn't made the impact here since joining Inter Milan that they hoped, certainly not the sustained impact. He started the season well, but now we've got the mini marbles on in attack. Bojan's 5'8", Messi's 5'8". We're going to get Pedro 5'8". We're going to get another one, Jeffren. He's about 5'9", Jeffren. Well, Pedro's coming off in actual fact, I think. Is it? No, it's Busquets.
Yeah.
Jeffren, 22-year-old, actually born in Venezuela but raised in Tenerife. He's a Spanish under-21 international. Did play Saturday. He's had quite a bit of experience in league football of late, but only 5 minutes in the Champions League, and that was back in September. The ball is being given back to Inter Milan here, and Barcelona's own sweet way.
What's happened now, Clive, is Yaya Toure is pushed into his familiar position. From centre-back, he's gone as the midfield anchor. And Daniel Alves is back there with Piqué, Maxwell.
Now, here, referee's walking towards Jose Mourinho here, on the advice of the fourth official. It is merely an exchange of words. Mourinho, who's watched games from directors' boxes and laundry baskets in the past, it can stay on the touchline. Oh, he left his technical area, Devil.
Giving advice to Christian Kivu.
Dani Alves. Xavi. Here's Maxwell. Macon blocking out the line.
Yeah, it's going to restrict Daniel Alves a little bit more because Jeffrin is operating now wide right.
Free kick. There's not much height in the Barcelona team now. Piqué and Touré are coming forward. Taken by Xavi. Julio Cesar rather nervous punch as far as Pedro. He's got away from Eto'o. Pedro's cross, Samuel, Kivu, I should say, more up than out, corner kick.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get Balotelli, I think, to try and give Inter a way out. Try and get him to hold it up and just get him into the opposition half and relieve some of the pressure now.
Talk about playing a wild card. Xavi with a corner. Towards Piqué, headed away by Lucio. This is Lionel Messi. Daniel Alves. Pedro. There's Xavi. Was giving it straight to Eto'o. And won it back.
In fact, it's Mariga. And Montari in his Clive. It's Montari, not Balotelli, who's going to come on.
Former Portsmouth player. And it's Wesley Sneijder who's going to come off, incidentally. So Sneijder has managed to last for 65 minutes and more, despite being unable to train on Sunday or Monday. And on in his place, Sully Montari, whom Jose Mourinho paid Portsmouth 16 million euros for. He just had the 1 year down at Fratton Park, won the FA Cup. He's athletic and competitive, but not always the most disciplined.
Yeah, he can get riled. He's got a bit of a temper, Montari.
Barcelona need 2 goals, at least 2 goals. Keita. Messi. Xavi. Pedro. Dani Alves. Touré just stabbing it back towards Alves, not accurately.
Wasn't the greatest ball into him because he played it quite briskly. Came at him very quickly, Yaya Touré.
First leg was the first time that a Pep Guardiola Barcelona had been beaten by 2 goals in 115 games. First time this season his team had conceded 3 goals. New experience for a man, don't forget, with less than 2 years in football management. Giving away nearly 8 years in experience to his opposite number tonight. Xavi. Messi. Dani Alves. Coaxed into the box, Cambiasso first to it. Milito back to Zanetti. Eto'o trying to find a way out. Piqué with a well-timed challenge.
Actually, you had to get there too, Clive, because I'm not sure whether Touré would have matched Eto'o for pace if he managed to keep that in and got down the line.
And a yellow card would put Piqué out of the final, but right now, Inter Milan's resistance looks likely to do the thing to keep Piqué out the final.
Well, the way Barcelona can play, you would have thought Inter would have been clearing things off the line, last-ditch tackles, but it's not been the case at all. We've seen some long-range shooting, really, from Barcelona, which has been well off target.
I think as an aside, the writing's on the wall for Thierry Henry at Barcelona when 3 substitutes are used in this situation and not him. Here's Piqué.
If ever they needed some magic from Messi, or this fella, Xavi, it's now.
Pedro. Dani Alves. Turned away by Cambiasso. Alves. Bojan. Throw in. Messi. Maxwell. Xavi. Keita has to come back to Pico. Trying to pull into out of position. Dani Alves. Crossed in towards Keita. Really important header by Lucio again. He's down again. Accidental collision with Keita.
Well, we saw in the earlier coming together between the two that Lucio made a bit of a meal of it because Keita had done nothing earlier in the half. And I wonder again, I mean, Keita's pleading his case to the referee, but Lucio's just had a little look up. I don't think there's an awful lot wrong with him somehow.
This is to see how much stoppage time the referee dare add on, if it's still in the balance as we approach the end.
I mean, look, there's absolutely nothing in it. And he knows it's just experienced, clever play. It's just running down the clock a little bit more. The other side of it now, Clive, as well, is do Barcelona feel desperate enough to start kind of falling to the ground themselves? Are they going to now find it difficult to stay on their feet anytime the ball comes into the box? I think there's a chance.
Can't get into the box to do that at the moment.
Well, at least the last couple of times they tried to cross, they're getting 3 or 4 bodies in. That's something.
Here's Sully Montari, meanwhile, for Inter Milan. There are 4 forward here, and Montari has tricked Piqué. Squeezing across, which Keita deals with. Maicon's up there.
They've got to keep it because they've got 4 players in the final third. We haven't seen that much.
Now, has Maicon won a corner? No. Oh, yeah, assistant on the near side, rather belatedly, did point to the corner flag. It is a corner.
Well, he was adamant, wasn't he, Maicon? But, you know, was it right? Does he get the touch? Yeah, he does, you know. It's come off the Brazilian. That is not a corner.
Well, Diego Milito's come out to take it. But Lucio is forward. And so is Walter Samuel. Both the centre-backs are up there. And after all that, it's not a very good corner. In fact, it's been swung out of play by Milito.
Well, he's penalised Lucio for, I think Lucio put his arm up on Maxwell and he penalised him for it.
Keita. Xavi. Messi. Keita. Again, it's a blast.
Looking for a corner, isn't he, Keita? But he's not going to get it. That's exactly what Inter want.
Not since AC Milan 20 years ago as a team successfully defended the European Cup. Nobody has done it in the Champions League era. Barcelona's defence of the Spanish Cup ended in January. Their defence of the Spanish title sees them holding a slender 1-point advantage over Real Madrid. The European Super Cup and World Club Trophy would have to go back if they went out of this competition. They've got to find 2 goals now in probably around about 20 minutes with added time. Virtually no threat of Inter scoring, so 2-0 will almost certainly do it.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't look likely at the moment either. You know, I thought they'd really pile it on second half, but Guardiola's the one looking for the answers at the moment, and they can't find them.
Montari, he's given it away, straight to Pedro. Dani Alves. Seydou Keita, Lionel Messi. Stopped again by Esteban Cambiasso. How much excellent work has he done on behalf of the men behind him?
You know, you rightly gave a good mention to Zanetti in the first half, but he has been phenomenal, Cambiasso, not just tonight, of late.
Can't get in the Argentine side. Dani Alves. Pedro. Alves. Maxwell. It's clipped in towards Messi. It's headed away by Zanetti. Alves competing for it with Montari. Pedro. Messi. Good ball. Alves. Clever little jink. Now Pedro. Driven in, headed away by Lucio. They shall not pass. Here they come again. Xavi. Jeffren. Maicon did enough. Away by Milito. Keita. Maxwell. Trying to reverse ball, but Keita wasn't on the same wavelength. You know, I grew up with a generation in which the Italians were the masters of defence. And here you have the Italian champions, not a single Italian player on the field, by the way, but playing like they're used to. Alves, deflected cross, corner kick.
Well, you said it before. I mean, Mourinho does that everywhere he goes. It's us against the world. And it really is great mentality, great cohesion in the team.
Messi. Maxwell. Jeffren. It's Maxwell. It's Dani Alves. But it was a nervous touch under pressure. And he lost it. And Zanetti can try to get out here. But Mourinho's always had his sights set on Barcelona since his Chelsea days, not least because the press here disparagingly christened him the translator, the role he first filled on Sir Bobby Robson's behalf. Down goes Messi again, but the tackle was clean. But he'll be able to mock Barcelona in several different languages if he ends their defence of the Champions League tonight.
And Lucio's at it again, and you can hear the reaction in the crowd. He's looking for a soft one from the referee, which he's not getting.
Jeffren. Keita. Now Toure. Xavi. Alves. Pedro's cross. It's a corner. Piqué, who's spent the last 10 minutes of the first leg as a striker, is up there most of the time now. Don't really have another aerial threat without Ibrahimovic. It was a bold move to take him off. Xavi takes towards Gerard Piqué, dealt with again by Lucio, and he's got himself another free kick.
Yeah, Piqué pleads, but you know, he's using his arms to try and get above his man. I mean, look, you know, maybe Barcelona, well, they haven't been at their best, but you have to admire what Inter are being able to do here and coping with the situation and digging in. I mean, some of the defending has been outstanding, really has.
And how many good saves has Julio Cesar had to make? Well, one great save, and that's it. Piqué. Maxwell. Jeffren. He's found a cross and Beauchamp's there. Might still come for Pedro, but it's Samuel Eto'o, left back Samuel Eto'o, who's there to knock it behind for a corner.
That's what I was referring to earlier, Clive. When Jeffren knocks this across goal looking for Beauchamp, why aren't there more bodies in and around the 6-yard box?
Nobody on the end of that Dani Alves cross, away by Cambiasso.
I mean, Barcelona players should be pouring in on the end of something like that now.
Valdez was briefly inside the Inter half then, the goalkeeper. Montari's take one for the team.
Yeah, and the referee goes with the delay. Crowd feel that there's very little wrong with Montari.
He's going to have to carry on. Alves. Xavi. Messi. Still no way past, but he has linked up with Pedro. Low cross hit Zanetti. Montari took a chance on the edge of the penalty area. Messi almost got to him. Well, he did. He's won a free kick here, Montari.
Yeah, foot was up from Lionel Messi. That's it. I mean, can't do that in European football, can you? Can't show the studs at all.
whistles because we briefly heard a chorus from the 5,000 travelling Inter fans who are perched right up on the highest of the 4 tiers of the Nou Camp, trying to encourage their team. Maxwell. Bojan is offside.
Coming around the back. I was just looking at Walter Samwell, just trying to get back into the defensive line there, Clive. He looks spent. He looks as if he's had it.
Guardiola's just telling Piqué to go up front full time now. So big Gerard Piqué, the centre-back, is going to play as a centre-forward for the last 10 minutes or so.
Do you know, he could have kept Ibrahimovic on to do that. It's a strange one.
Is Milito offside? Here he is. I just think that, OK, he's been ineffective in both games and he's not had a good couple of months. But when you're having to lay siege, it's an option. It's got to be an option. He can at least play the ball in high for him.
Well, he's always capable of something spectacular, isn't he? Something audacious. Ibrahimovic.
Messi. Now he stepped away from Cambiasso. He's got away from Kivu. He's been forced wide and lost control of the ball, and Maicon was able to steal it. The Inter substitute is imminent as a centre-back. Inter got the decision here. Maxwell barging into Jose Mourinho, his former manager, the man who sold him. Well, Diego Milito has played in about 3 different positions tonight, but his evening is over, and on comes the 33-year-old Colombian centre-back, Ivan Cordoba, who's been around the block a time or two, taken a few scalps on the journey.
And that went out off Maicon as well. I mean, it should be a Barcelona throw, and it was right under the assistant's nose. I can't believe he missed that.
And look at Samuel Eto'o here. Misjudgment by Maxwell. There's nobody with Eto'o. Corner's the best he can hope to get. Oh, really went off Touré and in the goal.
Touré did well because he knew that's all he was playing for and just stood back.
Messi. Xavi. Keita. Alves. Xavi. Messi still to rise to his heavenly level, but he's found a cross and a great chance for Bojan, which he couldn't take by a long, long distance. The best chance of the night, and Bojan Krkić missed it.
What a miss. What a big moment in the game, because the whole place takes off. Great little ball to the far post as well from Messi. That is a shocker, Clive. You know, with the pressure on them to get one now and give themselves a chance of that vital second, that had to go in. That's a big, big, big miss.
I think Lucio's just been yellow carded. But Bojan, who has scored 5 times in his last 6 games, and is a bit of a specialist substitute, made no decent kind of contact at all there.
Do you know, you can make an allowance sometimes if the player doesn't feel it's going to reach him, and you know it's just going to get a nick off the defender before. But he read it, you know, and he was committed, and he went at it with conviction. I can't believe he put it wide.
And it was a little glimpse of Messi magic which made it possible. Could Barcelona afford to miss that chance? Gerard Piqué, stopped by Zanetti. Touré. Xavi. Keita gets it back from Pedro. Somebody's got to take responsibility here. They were patient at Stamford Bridge a year ago, but they only needed 1 then. Barcelona must score 2 goals. Lionel Messi. Xavi Hernandez. Slipped through. Piqué's onside. Gerard Piqué! 7 minutes. 7 minutes to find a second goal to take Barcelona to Madrid. Gerard Piqué, a centre-back, pushed up front to try to provide something, provides a moment of mastery, a wonderful piece of skill and coolness inside the penalty area, and Barcelona have a chance. Onside or offside?
Was he off? I don't know whether it's Eto'o on the far side might be just keeping him on. No, in fact it's Muntari. But what about this for a piece of skill? I mean, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, eat your heart out. You know, he didn't even think about the flag, he just got on with doing that. Sold a great dummy to the sub Cordoba. And a brilliant, brilliant finish. And I'll tell you, Bojan will be feeling a little bit better about it too. This is superb skill. To turn like that, open things up, draw the goalkeeper out of position and slot it in. Brilliant.
Can I suggest you all just move a yard or so back away from the television set? This place is rocking now. Messi. Poked into the path of Jeffren. Maxwell. Xavi. Here's Pedro. Toure. In towards Piqué again. Somehow he's found Jeffren. Piqué once more. Cambiasso finds an escape and goes down. Messi fouled him.
Yeah, well, he bought that. There's just a little bit of contact, and the two guys from Argentina had just a couple of words about that. Here it is again. Did he manage to get back onside? Oh, it's still hard to tell whether Montari played him on, but the follow-up, you have to say, was superb. Wow, just listen to the place.
Off will come Samuel Eto'o, on in his place, the very inexperienced Kenyan McDonald Mariga, who's made only 2 brief substitute appearances in the Champions League in his life. 5 minutes plus. Xavi. Keita. Daniel Alves. Crossed in hopefully. Maicon sees it away. Mariga. How quickly can he get to the pace of the game? Piqué's been inspirational since he moved up front.
He has. Well, I mean, the way he finished that was just like a seasoned goal scorer.
Maxwell's running. Toure, Alves, Xavi. Lionel Messi, is this his stage now? Xavi. Alves. Pedro. Searching, probing, trying to find a way through again. Jeffren. Xavi goes for glory. Julio Cesar got everything behind it. And a good reaction from Cordoba.
I think there was a little bit of movement on it as well, and it just seemed to dip at the last moment. Goalkeeper wasn't taking any chances. Didn't try to hold it, Julio Cesar, and I think it was the right decision.
Messi. Lionel Messi straight at Julio Cesar, but suddenly there's a threat. Suddenly there's a belief.
Well, the goal's done that for him. I mean, Piqué, it should have been 2 with Piqué, because Bojan should have struck earlier. And that's the Xavi one that just dipped as it got to him, and he's just happy to beat it away. And this one just straight at him. Didn't really get the contact, Messi.
Inter Milan's aggregate lead is 3-2. Messi. Xavi. Pedro. It is the most tenuous lead because a Barcelona goal will take them through, courtesy of the goal that they scored in Milan a week ago. But can they find it? Xavi. Pedro. Deafening noise. Still they pass, still they play. Xavi, Messi. Clip through, down goes Daniel Alves, nothing doing, told to get to his feet. He was yellow carded for diving a week ago, remember. Another card and he'd be out of the final if Barcelona made it.
Well, I speculated as to whether they'd be able to stay on their feet a short time ago, and Montari was certainly cross with Daniel Alves, feeling that he was looking for it. You know, was there a little tug? He's certainly holding him.
Dive.
No, it's a dive. He's looking for it in the end.
He had a much stronger penalty appeal turned down last week. Jeffrey. Lovely ball. Lionel Messi. Plenty happening right and left. Daniel Alves. Mishit it. Gathered in by Bojan. Here's Messi. Changes feet. Can't get away from Lucio and knocks it against Messi. Goal kick.
It was a great little touch as well from Bojan, because it was a shot from Daniel Alves and it came quickly at him, so it was lovely to find Messi. I think Christian Kivu did really well, because he could have stuck a leg out and Messi probably would have gone over it, but he just held his ground. And they hold on, Inter, they hold on, they're still hanging in there.
McDonald Mariga, dispossessed by Yaya Toure. How much more of this can Inter withstand? Messi. Xavi. Pedro. Trying to get on the outside of Montari. Pedro's done well. Across comes Zanetti. Corner kick.
Oh,
Dubious decision there.
yeah, I think that might have come back off Pedro.
Xavi, the string puller, will take the corner. Messi's gone, looking for a short one. He's found Maxwell. Tried to side foot. Slide rule ball into PK. Who got it away? You got it, Lucio. Jeffren though. Pedro. Maxwell. Xavi to Daniel Alves. Held up by Montari. Messi. Xavi. Now PK. Angled in towards Toure. It'll come for Bojan! No, it's not going to count. Free kick's already been given to Inter Milan.
Do you know, I'm not surprised the players couldn't hear the whistle, Clive, because it really is deafening here.
Kivu went down.
Yeah, Bojan thought he did it. He's given it for that. Is it handball when it was played into Yaya Toure? That's what he's given, you know.
Wow, he's a yard away.
He can't get out of the way. That's harsh, very harsh. Oh, that's ridiculous.
There's never been ball to hand, that's it. And I don't think Inter stopped. Xavi. Messi. Maxwell. How patient can a team be? Still Lionel Messi. Slipped into the path of Jeffren. Good tackle though by Mariga. He's got himself a free kick.
Yeah, he slipped in the end, but there was a little tug from Jeffren.
We've had 2.5 of the 4 added minutes. 90 seconds away from Champions League defeat. It's not been much of a spectacle in truth, but it has been totally compelling, and it has had 2 or 3 minutes and moments that these two great clubs will debate and argue over for months to come. Still, the free kick's not been taken from the correct position. Mourinho thinks it should be a throw-in. What's all that about? It was a bounce ball.
Do you know what? Ridiculous from the referee.
I don't think he's had a great night. I don't think any of them have, really. It's been a bit too much for them. 1 or 2 linesman decisions wrong. Alves with the cross in towards PK, headed away by Maicon. It's Messi, instant control. Xavi. Last minute of added time. Daniel Alves. Maicon heads it away. Last roll of the Barcelona dice.
Did well. It was easier to give a corner away from Maicon there. Did well to make it a throw-in instead.
Toure. Xavi towards Piqué. It's a corner.
Do you know, I'm wondering as well why they're leaving Cordoba with Piqué. Yeah, he got the little touch then, the Colombian, but you know, Piqué's got much greater height advantage. I think one of the bigger men have got to pick him up, surely.
Dani Alves, away by Lucio, who else? Barcelona are beaten. Inter Milan will go to Madrid, and Jose Mourinho's moment has come again. A special success for the special one. Victory over the reigning champions, whose anthem rings defiantly around the Nou Camp.
Clive, it's all kicking off. Mourinho's run to the crowd and he's waving, and Valdez manhandled him, and now everybody's been drawn to it.
Valdez has been led away. His finest triumph over what he described as the best team in the world. Surely his sweetest triumph. Barcelona have mocked him, now they fall to him. Even the translator may be lost for words tonight, but he's run to the Inter fans. He has wound up his opponents. He has maybe psyched out his opponents again. Inter's first final for 38 years. Mourinho himself was only 2 the last time they won the European Cup in 1965, and now he has the chance to become only the 3rd manager to win the competition with 2 different clubs. He's turned Inter Milan from the competition's underachievers into the probable favourites to win it now. And you know the crazy thing, they may have a better chance of beating Bayern than keeping Jose Mourinho. Final score in the Nou Camp tonight: Barcelona 1, Inter Milan 0. But Inter go to the final on a 3-2 aggregate.